Thank God it's Friday. Welcome to the show. I am Mariah Afolabi Brown. As always, I have the ladies with me. Hello, Moriam.
Hi, how are you
doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
Hey, what's up?
Good to see you too. Is this Mariah or
in a different look, right?
Yes,
I just wanted to try something new. It's okay. Just
I love it. I love the color.
Yeah. The color is different. Yeah. How you doing?
I'm fine. I'm so excited.
Plans for the weekend?
I don't have any. Well, I have some things I'm doing here and there, but nothing important to mention. But I am so happy. Yesterday, I finally got my son's results for school. He did so well. No, for me, the only thing that really, truly brings me joy is my kids and that they are happy, you know, and that they know that that's all I want for them. And 2020 was really tough for them academically. That online schooling didn't work for us at all. It was a disaster. So going back to school and then seeing the improvement really made me so proud. And you can see his own confidence too. He's so proud of himself. And I'm really excited. So we just went out for ice cream. We had to celebrate. It's so fantastic.
Oh, that's great. That's great. I can even see you glowing and shining.
I'm so happy about it.
How you doing, Nima?
They say the children's result is the mother's result.
I'm telling
you.
I love your outfit.
Thank you. It's not Arabia again. And we had issues, so I'm just combining it the way I know. I hope it works.
How you doing though?
I'm not happy. I'm not.
Elijah, you have to be happy.
I want to be. I had to leave home extremely early this morning and I still got stuck in traffic. It was a struggle to get here. So I don't know why we do these insensitive things again. We know the contractors on the Badagry Expressway are foreigners. They are expatriates, like you like to call them, CCC, they are Chinese. But our people are the policymakers. We own the land. How do you say you're doing the ramp into all the communities on Ojo, Amu Odofin, Satellite Town, and you block all of them at once? No exit for a normal person. We had to start to drive, climb mountains, climb hills to get out of the community, and I don't even know how I'm going to get back home. Yeah. The traffic this morning before you get to Trade Fair Abulation is crazy. And we're all just stuck there. There's no exit. You get to Abulado, it's blocked. You get to Dantata, it's blocked. What are we going to do? How do we get out? The easiest thing is for me to just get there, and in 15 minutes I'm at Mile 2. And then you get to Mile 2, the ramp into Oshodi Road blocked again. Everything cannot be happening at once. You create one, you're doing one, you create an alternative. That's just the reasonable thing to do. In Lagos, it now becomes rocket science. There's a book you need to read to know this.
Sorry, Sorry,
people are there now stuck in traffic that,
please help Nima's area.
Avoid the traffic. It's not making sense.
But I got a party tomorrow.
Is this tomorrow or today?
I have a party tomorrow. My girlfriend is 40 for Lafilani.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday to her. She's going to be 40. And it's a nice party. So don't use your traffic story to come and bury
my father's only surviving brother. From his own maternal side. So let me not scatter extended family. We're a polygamous family, but my uncle, Oda Akokia, happy birthday, sir.
Happy birthday.
You're now our daddy, and I wish you long life and more goodness and prosperity, wealth as well. He's a lecturer with the Ewuare Polytechnic, and I pray promotion.
That's good.
Rectorship.
From TV, you're telling them to give him. Okay, no problem.
Give him rector. Give him more, please.
All righty, let's go on a break. It's Friday. So much happening. We're going to break. When we come back, we look at the front pages of the papers. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're going to start with The Nation. Major headline, 2023 presidential. APC, PDP weigh options on zoning. NLNG to boost domestic markets gas supply. Government plans $500 million investment in technology for youths. Twitter restoration good for business. Ibadan High chiefs drop crowns. And members will pick PDP candidates, says IU. Okay, which story are we start with the...
On it because I thought, this is good news. According to their general manager, the NLNG general manager, external relations and sustainable development, and DOD, it says that the NLNG has completed plans to commence the supply of 100% of its products, that's propane and butane, to the Nigerian market. And this, of course, is a move to help meet the demand for domestic supply of gas, which, of course, we know the price is about 640 per kilogram. And this is expected to help us bring price to affordability within Nigerian ports. He also talked about, the plans of the LNG to create gas and hopefully meet government's need to convert our cars to gas use instead of the petrol that we use already. And hopefully this, for me, before you do car, let's just have gas.
All right, so our Vice President attended an event yesterday organized by the International Award for Young People. It was a National Gold Award, somewhat like the Nigerian version of the Duke of Edinburgh's International Award. Now, at that event, he was telling the audience how the youth are the most valued assets for Nigeria, and that currently the administration is doing everything to ensure they can encourage their creativity. So he further said that currently the African Development Bank has raised about $170 million for creativity development and technology, and they're looking for additional money to help that entire sector. So the idea is they're going to be investing in the youth, especially in technology, and they realize how important they are. As part of the requirements for achieving the Gold Award, they undertook shared purposeful experiences with people who are not usual companions of residential settings. So this is really, really good, and I'm hoping that it's going to go beyond the talk or the announcement of it to actual implementation and usefulness for the Nigerian youth. Okay, any other story in Nation? Okay. All right, let's move on quickly now to The Punch. Amotekun combs Southwest Forest for fleeing Northwest terrorists. Picture here of the President, I believe, and Governor of Ogun State and Governor of Lagos State, and I think Governor Fayemi also receiving the President yesterday as he commissioned some roads. Robber kills colleague, Amotekun rescues 17 victims in Ondo. Igbo has investments everywhere. We're not part of Biafra, says Umahi. Court orders interim forfeiture of the 110.4 million naira traced to teacher and accomplices. Nigeria blames immunization suspension as 395 polio cases resurfaces. NDLA grills socialite Obi Kubana for alleged drug links, and will present presidential candidates for Southeast, says Ohaneze. Okay, lots of stories there. Yeah.
In fact, James Bond kind, they've been able to trace 110.4 million to the bank account of one James Ereboye. And this was part of the process of a 550 million illicit fund that they could not explain the source of. ICPC suspects that it was process of fraud, and the 110 that was initially deposited in a class teacher, a primary school teacher. Her name is she's a teacher. Her name is Roslyn Ewuare, and she says that the money belonged to her son Chidozie Ezeka, is a 24-year-old man. And but the moment a post no debit was placed on the account, they noticed that the money was moved to several other accounts, and the ICPC were able to investigate this, trace the funds, and get a forfeiture of the 110 million immediately. And the other funds are also, being traced. A 17.4 million that was transferred to another bank account owned by this same man as part of this money, a 14.2 million owned by him, 30.8 million to another account, all linked to the original suspect, that's the James Ereboye. And ICPC did get, tracing the money, sustained forfeiture of that amount of money, and arrested the people. I'm hoping that the prosecution will finally meet these people.
Mary, I want to take a
So NDLEA on Thursday grilled the socialite Obi Kubana on suspicion of having links with illegal narcotic business, the drug business. They said they got from impeccable sources that payments were made into his account by people who were convicted of drug business in India, in Malaysia. And 2017, someone here that was convicted was arrested at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport. They said that they have sources that show that he may be involved, or somehow monies are being sent to him from these illegal businesses. They say he was grilled for 5 hours. He's been let go on bail, but he'll be back with documents to, help his case or things like that. So it's conversation that's going on.
Okay, so Governor Umar, you remember he recently declared from Ebonyi State for presidency, and they hosted him for a reception where he said that Ebonyi would never be part of Biafra, and that he strongly believes that an Igbo president will build Nigeria and not destroy Nigeria, because according to him, he says, let nobody be afraid of presidency of an Igbo man. An Igbo man is a builder and not a destroyer. There is no Igbo man that would be president of this country and would like to divide or destroy it. That Ebonyi State is not part of Biafra, and they are hoping that people can come together and ensure the Igbo presidency, and they're not going anywhere. And you continue to appeal and dialogue to be treated fairly, and to ensure that they insist on an equitable Nigeria for all.
You also said that there's no part of the country where you don't find their people's, the Igbo people's investors.
Yes, they have investors everywhere.
Everywhere. So if anybody has the Nigerian dream, it's an Igbo man. I love that.
Okay, any other story in Punch? I thought you were going to...
The polio story?
Yes,
okay, let me just take it here just in case. So we remember some 16 months ago, the World Health Organization has certified Nigeria to be wild polio virus free. But recently, the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency yesterday announced that we have 395 cases of circulating mutant poliovirus type 2 across 27 states, including the FCT. So the reasons they're giving for this new outbreak, it says that it has to do with the fact that a lot of kids have not been immunized, so there have been gaps in immunization, and that came about because of COVID-19 and all the lockdown issues that happened during that time. And so this had brought about this new outbreak. And even though, they said that they had done everything to certify, because to certify they had to do lots of investigation, and it proved that yes, there wasn't any. So this is really something that came about in 2020. So we hope that something can be done. I guess immunizations will pick up again, since we are at least moving around despite the COVID, and this will be tackled quickly. But to see 27 states, that's widespread. Yes.
Okay, moving on quickly to, let me see how much time we have. Daily Sun. FG talks tough on corruption. 2023, why I'm yet to join presidential race, says Kalu. We're ready to drop our Obaship titles in Ibadan. Oba's reply Makinde. NLNG crashes cooking gas price. Buhari pays condolence visits to Shonekan's family. Twitter, US, EU, UK hail return to Nigeria. APC governors DG warns against electing Emperor as national chairman. Okay, which story? I was going to take the major headline, which was at an event. So the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, that's Boss Mustafa, yesterday was inaugurating the governing board of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, that's the EFCC. And he had charged the 23 members to put in their best to combat the Hydra-headed monster, which obviously is the financial crimes that we have within the country. And he's saying that it has actually robbed us of international, the international rule, and it's been exported. So he says that the unfortunate thing is that we have battled with it internally and externally. We have successfully exported it out of this country. So your job, according to him, and your role will be to extend beyond the borders of the nation, of this country, because it does not only hurt our image as a country, it deprives us of even the direct foreign investment. So he has charged these 23 new members of the board of EFCC to ensure that they begin to help to get the image of Nigeria back on track on how we can fight the financial crimes that we have. Okay, any other story in Sun? Let us go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue with the review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still on Daily Sun. Yeah. You're going to take the Twitter story? Yeah, go ahead, please.
So I took yesterday that the Twitter ban has finally been lifted. And, we've just been hearing from different quarters, people reacting. The former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, Saraki also. reacted. But first of all, the NetBlocked had done like a small investigation and it said that the cost of shutdown to Nigeria's economy lost over 100 million every hour that ban was on Twitter. It says, and the ban lasted for over 5,000 hours. That's from June 5th till January 12th. And the economy lost over 500 billion naira in that space of time. So mostly the reactions are, thankfully, this ban has been lifted. Young people who have been doing their businesses can go back and continue to pursue their businesses. You know, Bola Ahmed Tinubu had also reacted. He says that, yes, sometimes this platform may be used for, you know, may not be used in the right way, but for those of them who are using it right, you know, this is a welcome development for people to continue to pursue their businesses online.
So the chief whip and former governor of Abia State, Dr. Orji Uzor Kalu, has given reasons why he is yet to declare his 2023 ambition. According to him, he says that there are some gray areas that needs to be cleared by the APC. He says that he was speaking on the station yesterday, and he said, I do not own the party, neither does Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu own the party, that the party is owned by the people, and that he's waiting for some issues to be cleared at the convention, which they are planning. Remember, there's a lot of issues concerning this convention that's supposed to happen in February, that the convention would now know the direction of the APC party board. Because of that, he's still saying that regardless of what he has said, according to him, the majority would always have their way. So they're waiting for the party convention to decide going forward. Moving on quickly to the Vanguard. Parents groan as school owners charge spurious fees. Over 90% of applicants fail police recruitment examination, says PSC. Convention APC Governors Forum slams Buni, alleges delayed tactics. Olubadan, we are ready to revert to high chief status, says Balogun and others. Okay, major headline?
Major headline, oh. So primary and secondary schools, we know, across the country are open. Children are going back to school, and parents and guardians are screaming blue murder. They say, hey, private schools want to kill us, so with all their different fees. They said they have things they call development fees, entrepreneurship levies, without materials or tools for practicals. This one really made me laugh. He says there are also fees for diction in English language in the absence of a language laboratory. That, you know, they also talked about some schools still charging in dollars, you know, in Abuja. And it's just a bit tough on parents. And I guess what parents really are saying when you listen to this is some of these fees, is it just ways that private schools are just trying to get more money for parents? Or do these fees really reflect in better education for the children? In what ways these extra things that parents and guardians are paying for, what way does it make their education more special or better?
You know, one thing I know is that we have a shortage of teachers, good teachers. Yes. So if you're going to, so in some schools they argue that, listen, if you want the best teachers, you got to pay for the best teachers. Well, if only... So it's not like back in the day. Like, right, we have a lot of half-baked teachers today. So if you're going to get somebody who is a proper graduate that can actually be in school, you pay a certain amount of fees. So I mean, I'm not justifying. I'm just saying different arguments
don't reflect to good pay for teachers. That's the sad part. The IPs don't translate to good pay.
Not always, but we don't know. Sometimes it does.
Yeah. Most of them, you meet teachers and they're always disgruntled. I found myself this time checking the bill and making sure that school fees is not the same thing as tuition fee. Why is there school fee developed? I had to break it down. It's ridiculously high.
Someone said that his child was asked to pay 10,000 naira for party. Said after I paid all these fees,
I don't do party.
10,000 naira for party.
And you want to do party because your children will not get their party and you're not there. Okay, there's a story. Olubadan, do you have the story? I have that story. So the Otun Olubadan, Chief Lekan Balogun, yesterday said that he and his colleagues who were promoted by the previous administration, previous governor actually, they're going to revert to their original positions as high chiefs, as directed by the current governor of Oyo State, Governor Makinde. Remember this drama that happened? All of us, there was this back and forth, you know, there are a lot of these, you know, issues then. But interestingly, they've accepted to come back to revert to their old stores. And it's really interesting that I like how, you see, when they tell you that the problem is really usually from the political class.
Yes.
When it comes to Obaship, traditional rulers, they always know how to resolve it. You know, something just always happens where they say, oh, let's just go back to where we're coming from.
You see,
they have this wisdom.
That wisdom would have saved us all the wahala.
Yes.
From the beginning.
And the political class was what introduced the wahala now.
They should have insisted on the tradition and said, no, we remain where we are. But we thank God, Sha. The police, the commissioner representing human rights and non-governmental organizations on the Police Service Commission has come out to say that the latest recruitment that happened within the police, only 30% were able to pass. That 90% of the applicants failed the recruitment examination. And if they have to resort to the number of people that applied to enlist them into service, it will he said this is a sad reflection of the caliber of officers that will be patrolling our communities in the event that these persons actually end up being enlisted into the police service. This is sad. Frank Kumba also mentioned that there's no most applicants did not come from southwest or the southeast. Then they totally left this to the northern area. And tomorrow we'll start to complain when the promotions start to come within the higher ranks. We'll start to complain that it doesn't reflect the Nigeria because but we on this side are refusing to join that police force. So
okay.
It's just sad.
Moving on quickly to the Nigerian Tribune, I think we have a few more minutes. Battle for 2023 hots up. North Central legislators pass vote of confidence in Buni and Dos Bello for president. Drop your ambition. Let's jointly fix APC. Stakeholders tell Tinubu, Kalu, and Umahi. Ezekwesili leads Soludo's 80-man transition committee. Restore dignity, respect of Yoruba tradition institution. Gani Adams tell Obas and governors. WHO recommends 2 new drugs to treat COVID-19 patients. Makinde at Alawa Kala's residence reveals what he shared with him despite political differences. Ibadan High Chiefs drop Obaship title. I agree with Makinde. And we are in Nigeria to serve public conversation, says Twitter. Okay.
Yes, so Soludo, the governor in waiting for Anambra State, has formed an 80-man committee, which will be headed by our one-time Minister of Education, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili, include a few others on the list, Professor Benedict Orama, Professor Pat Utomi, Mr. Osita Chidika. And these are just supposed to help him towards, his swearing in. I'm so interested to see what Soludo will do in Anambra State. And I'm just wishing him all the best of luck, and I hope that he's able to put a team together that will make a difference. Let us see. Let's have a shiny star in the southeast, and I think it will be very good to,
You're very hopeful.
I'm hopeful.
Yeah,
I'm hopeful that he will do something
about
there.
The WHO has, recommended 2 new combinations to treat COVID-19 patients. So 2 new drug combinations to treat COVID-19 patients. They said the drugs are baricitinib, an arthritis drug, and corticosteroids. So the 2 drugs are supposed to help. They said it's not based on, it's based on moderate certainty that it improves survival and reduces the need for ventilation and shows no observed increase in adverse effects on patients of COVID-19. And so they've recommended that these drugs are used alternately because one is more expensive, but both should not be used at the same time. So hopefully we have an alternative now to the no drug issue, and so people can start to apply this in some serious cases of COVID.
All right, so before we run off, the president was in town, or is in town. He had visited the family of the late Ernest Shonekan back in Ikoyi yesterday, alongside the governor of Lagos State and Governor of Ogun State. And from then on, he went on to Ogun State to inaugurate several major projects. I think there were 5 in number.
Yes.
I have a few here. It says the 42-kilometer Shagamu Interchange Abeokuta Road, the 14-kilometer Ijebu Ode Madoja Ekpe Expressway, and the Gateway City Monument, where, amongst other projects, were inaugurated yesterday. Congratulations to the governor of Ogun State. And I'm happy, and I don't know if he's going to stop by in Oyo State to see the family of Alawa.
He has a lot of visits.
They didn't tell us that, but we know that APC lost
Oyo has lost 2 traditional rulers.
Yes.
and one ex-governor. So if you're visiting, he has a lot of visits to do in Oyo.
All right, so before we run off, we must remember that tomorrow is the Armed Forces Remembrance Day.
Yes.
And we would like to use this opportunity to remember the fallen heroes and their sacrifices for the nation. And tomorrow we should all take out 1 or 2 minutes to remember their sacrifices for our country. It's such an important time for us, and we all should be part of this. Let's go on a break. When we come back, move on to our hot topic of the day. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Timi Dakolo, the Nigerian singer, in one of his posts recently, said that fame doesn't automatically translate to financial success. In his words, you can be really famous, like really, really famous, and but still be broke. Now, what are your thoughts on this, especially seeing that a lot of young people would do anything to be famous? For example, majority of them just want to be on TV without being the one that serves the coffee first. Now, what are your thoughts on this? Because people think that fame is everything, and Yoruba has a saying that if you're looking for fame, if you're looking for money, and you find honor or fame, okay, you find honor on the way, which sometimes fame can give you honor, right? So it depends on how you look at it. But the point is that when you have all this fame, all this attention from people, does it necessarily translate to money? And it's important for us because people always assume we are rich people. They come to you expecting that Mariam has more money. In fact, they come to me asking for a job. I'm like, they say that I am the owner of TVC, or I am, people just assume that because we have big guests that come on the show, automatically they are our friends, that we talk to them every day. Oh, really? So we've experienced it, so we can almost relate to what he's saying. But what are your thoughts when you saw this message?
I mean, I just feel that, yes, he had just told you, and it is, fame does not necessarily translate to money. There's so many things. Beauty does not necessarily translate to happiness in marriage, So there's some of these misconceptions people have about things because they're on the outside, very far away from it, and until you're inside it, you understand that not only does it not always translate to money, it comes with so many responsibilities, it comes with a cost. And, sometimes you sit down in your home, when they say, be careful what you ask for, this is what people mean, that until you step in that person's shoes, you understand that, yes, you may see the lights and camera and action, but you don't understand the work that needs to be put in place, the cost that sometimes people have to pay to find themselves here. And then there's some people who are just pursuing, they're just pursuing what they love, their passion, and then fame happens to them. So they're not pursuing fame in itself. It just happened to fall on them because of what they were doing. And you find them always struggling with this newfound fame. I've heard musicians say, I just want to be a musician. I don't want to be famous. I don't want to be on the streets and people running after me. Yes, I just want to make good music and go back to my house and be quiet. So I think for young people, whatever you want to pursue what makes you happy, pursue what you're passionate about, money and fame will come. And then if you want to work, fame, as we said, fame does not necessarily translate to money. So you have to do the extra work of seeing how you may, bank on this fame to bring you money, because yes, it gives you a platform, it gives you some sort of influence, but you have to use it well to tap into those benefits.
So I therefore ask that, what's the cost of fame? What's that cost? People are willing to pay or not pay, because you're telling me about an interview of a very popular actress who was saying that she had to sacrifice a few things for what she is today. I think her marriage had to be sacrificed at that time for So what is that cost? Yes, you see the fame, but are you willing to pay that price? I was watching a video of a very influential woman. I can't remember her name. She's not Nigerian, but she's at the Okonjo-Iweala level. Okay. And she was saying that, listen, when somebody asked her that question, point blank, like, what was the cost of this? She said, listen, it was a high cost. Because her children did not have her. She had to leave her. I mean, it was a price she had to pay. She didn't have the motherly attention. They didn't have the motherly attention she should have loved them to have. That she had, growing up, she dreamt of this nice mother, father, children sector. And then she started beginning to grow in her career. And opportunities were opening. And she was thinking, okay, do I take it or go back home? And she took the opportunities. She's owning it, but she understood clearly that she lost out on her children's growth. Now they're older, they're closer to their dad, but at least she's happy that they have their dad who's someone. So what's that cost of fame, Nima?
When you asked it, fear catch me because I'm at that point now. My son gave me 50 naira. And the other time he gave me 200 naira note in exchange for me to stay home. So he's 5 now, he's very aware. And the conversation regularly is, why do you have to go to work?
Oh,
Can you just stay home? He will run after the car. But this morning he acted more maturely. He ran after the car in his clothes and said, bye, I'll see you later, right? I said, yes. You know, so I have to compensate accordingly and, you know, adjust all the time. And I'm not a parent that takes children out regularly. I don't have places. When I'm not working, I want to stay home. You know, so the children will be like, no, let's just spend time with you the entire day. Wherever you're going, let's go there. Where I'm going to work. I can't have children and be attending to children where I'm going. So these are tough conversations. So I can only imagine if a person that has to do it for 30 years and certain highlight points of your kid's life or very major points of family life that you know you would have had to give up because you know you want to get to the very peak. Right. Most of us that were doing it here now, we know how to balance it. We're still able to. Yeah. But there's certain fame that comes and it takes it all. Exactly. I listened to Amina, I'm trying to remember her son name. No, not Oyatogo, Oyagbola, I think the former MTN was at the CEO, and she was saying that when someone asked her that same question, she said the price was children. And that, you know, she had to take the tough decision because her son got addicted to TV. And I said, I'm there now. My son was addicted to TV. So I thought to compensate this is to take out certain things. I did that, and the son wanted me to replace it. So a lot of times, these are tough decisions that you make. And all the people see outside is that you're famous, so you're wealthy. And it's not always the case, and you're happy. Yeah. You know, it's not always the case. Sometimes you call me, I'm actually looking at the phone, I'm just not picking it up. Because, you know, I know that you want to pass a burden to me, and I'm dealing with my own now.
God bless you.
I'm dealing with my own right now.
I mean, there was I was telling you yesterday that I was on, my daughter already complained that I don't have her time, and you know, so I'm trying to make her time for her. So it was a Saturday morning. So I now said, the mommy-daughter time, we're going for a photo shoot, you're going to be 10 years old. So I was having that nice time with her alone. Somebody calls me and started giving me all the story of her life, of her husband, they did this, something going to happen, she doesn't have money. And I'm thinking, I honestly don't need this information right now. Like, and when you tell them, they don't understand. No, so I had to tell her, you know what, let's talk tomorrow. I'm going somewhere very important. You know, and it happens. Even last, I went to a birthday party. Myself and my husband were at the party 2 days ago. And we were having a great time. And while the party was going on, he got a call from grandma. He now went outside. And he was hearing my son crying in the background that he wants his mommy and daddy. Right now. Yeah, mommy and daddy. And grandma said, you better start coming home. He now came to me and said, let's start going home. But you see, we have to be at that party because we invited people that were important to us. But the kids don't see that. No. They're like, here, it's evening. You're supposed to be in this house. You know? So those are some of the prices we have to pay. Now, the crucial question is it worth it? Those things that we do outside them, is it worth it? We'll say it's for the money, it's for the stability. I don't know what, I mean, is it worth it? It
depends on what makes you happy eventually. Miriam just talked about, you know, how fulfillment is seeing the children doing well. Happy, and that, for me, has always been a dream. I don't want to fail at anything. If I fail at anything, I don't want to fail at this. You understand? So it will be worth it if I have the family intact and everything doing well at the same time. But it won't be worth it if that side has to fail. Yes. I'd rather feel that.
Okay, let me go on a quick break. When we come back, we continue this conversation. What is the price of fame? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. We're still discussing Timidakolo's message that's saying that because somebody is famous doesn't necessarily mean they have a lot of money. Because at the end of the day, this entire life journey is about making enough living for our children at the end of the day. Because I observed 70-year-olds, 80-year-olds, all they have today is their family, what they've invested in their children. It's not about all the fame that happened when they were younger. The real crux of the matter. So the poor man, the middle-class man, the rich man, at the end of the day, it's the same result. Our children are successful and they're doing well.
Yes.
That's the same result we're all trying to achieve. So the poor man that has never entered airplane before, that has never even lived in a city before, and is living in a small village and is happy, and his children are excelling because he invested everything he had into those children, has exactly the same result as a man that lived all his life outside the country, and his children are also doing well, and they're excelling. They have the same result. So this issue of fame, I go back to the question, is it worth it? Should we seek? Because people outside, they want to be famous. They want what you have. They want to be Mariam Longet. They want to be on TV. They want people to know them. Because for them, that is the way to get this result that we're all looking for. So the question is it worth it, do you think?
See, what makes it worth it is that you're pursuing first what it is that you want to pursue. You're pursuing a career, you're pursuing a way of life, and then the fame is like the cherry on top. You know, something that's just an attachment that comes with what you're doing. So if I am on TV, because I really love to be on a talk show with co-hosts and talk about issues, that is different from the fame. So the show, it's so popular, people enjoy it, and so it comes with that fame. So what I'm pursuing is the job, is the career, is the relationships that I have. And so it makes that worth it. And then it also, because I don't want to just give fame like a complete bad name, like the fame is the burden that we have to carry. It comes with its benefits, but sometimes also, as I said, it comes with its responsibilities and it comes at a cost. There's something I used to enjoy doing then, which is when I wake up in the morning, let me tell you what my life was before TV. When I would wake up, get the kids ready, and then I used to enjoy particularly driving with the children to school. Because it's such a long drive, we used to have a lot of time to talk. I knew a lot about them. And then one time when I got like a little short break, I did it again, and I realized how much I'd missed. You know, the sort of, so I'm like, so who are they having this conversation with? You know, when we start having conversation, like, so all these times that they're having conversation on their way to school and from school is not with me. They're having conversations with the people that are taking them, and it made me feel a little sad. But it also made me realize, okay, this is all important to me. I love the job that I do. So I would now make the extra time to do this somewhere. Another thing I used to love doing is when you drop them off, I stop at the stadium, do my taekwondo. Now I don't have all the nice toned muscles and everything. I just sit down,
you still look great.
So those are the, different costs. So it's important that you pursue really what gives you joy. Secondly,
I want to harp on what you said earlier, because I think it's critical, especially for those from outside looking in, because they forget that there's a baseline work for everybody. You have to work. As you said, the fame is the little cherry on top. We are all working. Work. So, but people don't want to work. They want to just be put on TV and then, hey, bada bing, bada bang, you're famous. So that work is so crucial for us to put it. But let's go back to what Timi Dakolo is saying. The money. How come we're not rich? We're famous.
It's not always right. Because maybe you need
How come an actor is not rich? How come some actors are not rich and they get that famous? I mean, we saw a few that passed on recently. They were sick. They didn't have money for proper medical care. So they have the fame. People know them when they go out. But that didn't translate to money. So what's the missing link?
Well, we have A levels, B levels, C levels. And then you need to be able to sell out like the huge stadia, O2 Arena, like the Wizkid. That's a lot of money. But here, I mean, let us use the example of when Davido did the challenge and how many billions that he got, millions of money that he got, compared to what we, raised. And it just shows that the fame, some people are famous, some people are infamous, some people are loved, and what they're doing, people are able to contribute to it. So if I have like 100 million people following me and I'm selling, you're able to stream my music or my movie for just, a little amount of money, but there's so many people that are purchasing it, of course it will reflect. Here on TV, it does not necessarily reflect that way because we do our job, we get paid for what we do here. Everything else goes to the, studio. But money itself is something you have to work for. So you need to now look for this fame that I have. How do I translate it to money? We had Waje come tell us some years ago, saying that her music did not necessarily bring her a lot of money. We were shocked because she has one of the best voices in Nigeria. And it's because we understand there's music talent and there's music business. So when you don't have the money, you have to now sit down with people who understand the business of making money to help you with your platform and market it and make you some money.
Yes,
I totally agree with you, Miriam. The truth is, there's fulfillment in doing what you're doing if your goal is just to make impact. For someone like me, who did not dream TV, I didn't even think it was possible. I just wanted to watch your view and then come and sit one day and correct the ladies. They were wrong on that viewpoint, and I was just shouting about myself. And I'm sitting down, and I do it every day now for 8 years. For me, I'm fulfilled. When I wake up in the morning, I go to where I love to go. And for me, that's fulfillment. If God now puts money in it, good. But that I'm not fulfilled doing what I love doing every day, it's a different business. The stress, once I just get here and I'm able to do that impact, and then I drive past people and the conversation actually change things. You know, sometimes I just take a drive on Sundays with my children around Satellite Town. Yesterday, I was on my backed-up photos, watching the videos, photos of the traffic, this serious situation. It was the craziness. There was this crater that people would jump over, fall into the water, and I was looking at it, I was like, and I used to be every day, government! I just felt good, and I do not feel like eating throughout the day. So for me, that's fulfillment. But, you know, I'd been at a place before where someone came and said, is that you? Is this the kind of car you're using? And you live in this area, you don't even live in Lekki. You know, that's people's mentality. Yes. Trying to affect what you already consider. I grew up a very conservative life. I feel fulfilled in things that people don't understand. You understand? So
and remember, that is what we're trying to help
Nigerians. This wealthy thing, the mama selling moi moi that I grew up with died fulfilled. You know, she counted her blessings in ways people don't understand. So I always try to put that in my daily life and view to life. I'm happy.
Money shouldn't define your fulfillment.
It shouldn't.
Happiness.
If it comes, it's an extra.
Yes.
But do you think that what you're doing is worth it? Is it something that when you leave this world, you'd have thought you made impact?
There was an old man. I think I can't remember where I met him from. We're having a conversation, and sometimes I like talking to people that are older because you just get a lot of wisdom. And he said that he's a happy man. I think he was in his 70s, you know, and I think he started his career as a carpenter. He wasn't doing much. And everything he earned, yes, I remember now, his children were my classmates in Corona Primary School. And I was living in a very, very, very smaller, like, everything he had, he put in those children. So I ran into him sometime not too long ago, and I saw him happy. This man was I think it was in the pharmacy. I saw him, and I remembered him. No, he remembered me because I'm on TV. He said, "Oh, remember me?" And he now introduced himself to me. I said, "Oh, my goodness," you know, and we talked. But you could see that this man was happy today. He doesn't live in the Ikoyi, Banana Island, but he's happy where he invested everything he had in his children. He was telling him that his children is a doctor. He has one who's a medical doctor in Canada, and the other one that just recently moved to Canada right now. And he only has 2 children. I mean, his kids, him and his wife were really deliberate. We don't have much money. 2 children, let us spend everything on them. And they're so happy. And he was just telling me about the show. And so it just reminds me, how do you define happiness? Is it until your father buys a house in Lekki or buys a house in Ikoyi that you say he's a fulfilled man? Being where he is, no matter where it is, he's a fulfilled man because you as a person are probably making him happy.
Yeah, you're happy as a child. You know, I'm happy we're going this way because I remember recently, I think it was Toyin Abraham, they showed a picture of her mother's house. Her husband had bought his mother-in-law a car. And some of the comments I saw underneath was, and she's still living in this type of house. So here are people thinking that woman is unhappy because she's staying there. If you were to move that woman, probably moved her from that house to a big house in Ikoyi or whatever, she has left all her friends, she has left her network, her community, all her church activities or mosque activities, all the things that she does that makes her happy because you want to prove a certain point. Now, that's something that a lot of us are, you know, are falling into, where now we want to, people have drawn for us a picture of what our happiness should look like. And when we do not have those things that they have pointed out, oh, you don't have the latest iPhone, you don't drive the latest cars, your house is not in this particular area, you must be unhappy, or you must be lazy, or you must not have ambition. But for some people, there are some things, there are other things, like you said, that make you happy, truly, deeply happy. And it's not to acquire more and more and more material things. It's to build relationships. It's to be able to be a good influence, to make impact. So we need to be careful. It's okay to want more, to want 5 houses all over the world, private jets. But that does not always mean that the next person wants the same as you, and that the person doesn't want that does not make that person less happy or lazy or unambitious.
Oh, Mariam, thank you for taking us there. So where do we therefore draw the line? You know, a lot of motivational speakers, a lot of these coaches, they tell you you're thinking small.
Yes.
Because you're living in this small room, you're thinking small, that you should think big. You must have these, because how they'll not give you Mark Zuckerberg's life story and Bill Gates' life story and say, listen, you have to go beyond where your space is. Your map of the world is too small. You need to dream bigger. And you as a person, you're hearing them tell you this, and you're already feeling, it means that you're my mother, who is still living in this small house, didn't have any big dreams for me. Because she doesn't have a nice car. Obviously, she was a very small-minded person. So where, therefore, do we draw the line between what motivational speakers tell us and the reality? Because the truth is that we all want to be wealthy and rich. But can we redefine what wealth and rich and happiness and joy is?
I want to be wealthy. So some people just want to be wealthy so that they make the noise. Did you see my latest? Or when you come, you're loud. I want to be wealthy so that I can help my surrounding. So when I smelt death in 2020 with that COVID, and while I locked the door and locked my neighbors out, one person insisted on every day showing up with food stuff. She even begged that I will cover mask and I will cook it for you. And I was like, you know, they hear what I have. You know, this house right now we need to isolate. And she was like, this man does not know. I was able to help my friend secure something, a better paying job. And we looked at the amount. I was like, this amount cannot do you well. But for her, it was a far difference from where she was coming from. And because of that, when she gets that money, she can send a little to her brother, a little to her sister, and she felt indebted for that small thing that me, I was still thinking, you need a better life. And then she would come every day and say, it's because of you that we are coping under the lockdown. All these people are artisans. They would not have had something to feed on. I reflected on that. So sometimes we are distracted with these lights. Everybody is doing bling, bling. Everybody is on everywhere. You need the money just so that you can make the noise, or you can make somebody else think, no, or someone who look down on you. Is it at that peak of your life when things are doing, okay, when you finally get the money, do you just want to go and rub it in the person that told you you will not make it space? Is that fulfillment? Or you're making impact and you're doing different from what you think they did to you? There was a
cross-dresser recently that was telling us how much her hair was, how much she makes her makeup. You know? And these are what young people are watching every single day. And they put so much value in material things. And what I'm trying to drive out with this conversation is, let us redirect what the value is. We all want to be famous. We all want to, but is fame the real key to happiness? That's the conversation. Is fame the real answer to your joy and fulfillment? That is the question we're asking, really. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So we're still talking about fulfillment, joy, and how fame contributes or doesn't contribute to this. And the reason why this is such an important topic is because a lot of young people want to be famous. We're in this space where constantly get messages from people that just, everybody wants to be a TV presenter, they want to be an actor, they want to be an actress, they just want to be there, they love the glitz. And they believe that this is their own pathway to success. And the conversation so far is saying, yes, you can be successful through this path, but it doesn't necessarily give you the joy and fulfillment that you seek for, that eventually every human being will definitely want to have. And it's not always financially rewarding, because sometimes you always assume that once I'm famous, the money comes running. No, it doesn't. It doesn't always come rushing in. And that's what Timmy Akpolokpolo was trying to tell us, that where we are doesn't make us necessarily rich. Do you have some messages for us? Yes, go ahead.
This chat said, Miriam is always on point. Other people try to help you define happiness. God's law says happiness is a relative term, and it's also a choice. Adebimpe Olakolu says, I want to be rich, but not necessarily famous. My being famous should be known to people who have been lifted by my richness. I think I like that one. Adeton says, how many soldiers have died keeping the country safe? Do you know? I understand your point. Okay, I think let's reply. Adebimpe says, that would be the basis of my happiness. That's completing her earlier. All right,
so I was sharing an example of the fact that I wanted to buy a car. I mean, right, I was telling you that I've been having car issues recently, you know, and I went to an important client's office, and I was really, I won't lie, I was embarrassed. I carried my car inside the cab. I felt that there's somewhere inside you that you feel like, Mariah, but shouldn't you at least be? But when I got home, I had the conversation with my husband. I was like,
that's why we have good support.
Are you okay? Do you know how much we need to buy? You know, we talked about the house, that we have to do renovation. Do you want to sleep on the floor? Would you not buy bed? Would you not buy it? We have to prioritize. Wait, our money right now is going to, we have to find, we have to fix the house. You know, so this is there. So don't even bring car this year. 2022, you can't forget car. We'll maybe next year, we'll see whatever is left. But leave it out of our list this year. So that's my korokoroka. I have to manage it, whether I like it or not. But the point is that, yes, people see me.
You go somewhere with the car.
No, of course not. But the point is that people see me and expect me to come out from this really nice, fancy car. But it's true that, you know, I'm not going to steal.
Remember that car that the window never used to go up? The day I appreciated that car was an emergency. When my neighbor was sick and we're looking for cars, we enter this one. We went to the hospital. We drove there. I was like, God, that day I said, thank you for this car. Because we would have had to pay ourselves inside whatever means to get to the hospital under an emergency.
Yeah, so it's saying that we're not saying that if you have the wealth, you should turn your nose up at it. You know, you were talking about motivational speakers and referring to people like Mark Zuckerberg, and a lot of TMO's recent favorite is Elon Musk. She always talks about Elon Musk, and, you know, talk about likes, you know, money people, people are, you know, who are achieving. But one thing I've noticed with them is I never hear them say, well, now that I've made 100 billion, I am working towards to see how I can make the next 200 billion. I hear them talk about the products that they are working on and how they have now noticed another problem and how they are working on a product that would solve that next problem.
So they're not money focused, they're problem focused.
Yes, that's what it is. Solution focused on, you know, the problem. That's what it is about. The money is the added bonus.
Fantastic.
So if they were doing something else, if they were maybe pushing a cart, someone like that with that mindset would be thinking, okay, what can I do with this my cart that I'm pushing? How can I make it work faster for longer?
Let's stay on that for a second.
I just wanted to quickly add to what you said. So in certain climes, some people go to school and market how to make your talent money. That's their business. Yes. And they feel fulfilled doing that. Yes. You feel fulfilled solving a problem, making a phone, making a helicopter car that can, you know, beat traffic and all of that. You're doing what you love doing. The person who knows how to make it, monetize it and get you the profits. Is doing what they love doing.
They're all valid.
And both of you are validly doing what you're doing. Yes. Honestly, not one person trying to make money off the other. You understand? Yes. Well, what we hear with all these people is that, bring 10,000, 20% payback in a month.
That one is a multi-level marketing.
But that's the mindset.
No, that's the mindset I'm trying to explain to you. Pushing you to monetize certain things that, you know...
Let me give an example, Nima.
You should enjoy the way they are while they help you convert it to money. So you wake up doing what you love, but you have the money.
Nima, let me give an example. So a young person is watching somebody famous or somebody who is wealthy that says, I wrote a book and I was able to sell 100,000 copies or 1 million copies, 2 million copies, and I was able to and they're thinking, oh, let me to write a book.
Let me just
that
write
person is money focused because
Yes.
you think, let me to write a small book based on what I know because I want to sell 1 million copies. I'll go to that man and say, the way you sold the whole 1 million copies. Can you please connect me to the person that helped you?
Yes.
Well, if you're solution focused, you'll be like Mariam, where you saw a problem.
Yes.
How we demonize birds.
Yes.
We demonize certain creatures. They say, you know what? Let me write a book. Let me reintroduce these animals to children. So vultures are not seen as demons. Owls are not seen as demons.
Yes.
Snakes are not seen as just as serpents. But they see them as animals that God made. And because you saw that problem, you now wrote a book. So you're likely to be more successful because you are problem focused.
Yes.
You didn't go and write that book because you wanted to make money.
No.
You're trying to solve. So that's the missing link where
So
forget.
it would be nice to have, maybe let me use myself as the marketer, the one who knows that this is what something Miriam must get rewarded for. I take the job of going to the market at a commission, get Miriam the profit. So Miriam wakes up having solved the problem she wants to solve, but she's looking at the bank account is encouraging her to do more.
Yes.
In certain clients, these are jobs that people feel fulfilled doing. Here, you now come, you say, I'm promoter. This one you start fighting on the road. That the $200 they give us somewhere. If you took all the money instead of my 10%, you know, these are clear-cut jobs. People get paid for doing them. You get paid for writing a book. You've made impact. I get paid for marketing it for you, but yet you make your profit. No clash.
Let me take this call. Mary Sandra, we're having issues with our phone lines, so hopefully I think it's been fixed now. Mary Sandra, you're live. Go ahead, please.
Morning.
Good morning. Oh, thank you. I can't hear you properly, but go ahead.
I said, morning, everybody.
We can't hear you, Mary Sandra. I do apologize. We have to disconnect that call. Right. So we
let's
have to
take
wrap
some
up on this.
messages.
Yes.
So till today, many are unaware of how many things Obama did while in office because he never made them public. So many people say he never did anything. Oladidi says, money can't buy health. It can't buy love. It can't buy happiness. Contentment is key to peace and happiness. September says, it takes an exposed-oriented intention. Sorry, Rose Simon replying September says, it takes an exposed-oriented, intentional and balanced Nigerian man to not feel intimidated by his wife's progress, especially in society where it's an anomaly, if for anything, not God. You know,
okay, we have to wrap up on this. I was going to just say your final thoughts on this issue of fame, people seeking fame and forgetting that at the end of the day, we are all just seeking fulfillment, joy, and happiness. So let me let you have final thoughts on this.
So for me, I would say, particularly for Nigeria, where we are now, and all of the problems that we have that we're trying to solve, I would like for our people to be more solution-focused, problem-focused. And all the fame and money and happiness will come with it. Let's just do that. Let's start from now.
Let me quickly take this call. Williamson says, Maya Angelou was just honored by the U.S. Federal Reserve, minting her image on the 25-cent coin. She became famous on account of her book, I Know Why the Cage Bird Sings, a literary masterpiece. So doing what you love, finding your own fulfillment by yourself is most important. Don't use the mirror. Miriam says, don't use the standard. Don't use the mirror of other people, of society to determine what will make you fulfilled. It's good to have the money, but is the money being in the bank and the amount tied to your name going to make you fulfilled, or, you know, making impact with money?
You know what, something just came to mind right now. We have to do a show on this, I call it passion syndrome. I want to follow my passion. I want to do my passion. Everybody's talking about passion. It's as if you know how motivational speakers have totally gone around with this, find your passion. And young people are going crazy.
Yes.
They send you to school to get educated on something, they pay school fees, so you can do something. And like, I don't want to do it, I want to do my passion.
Yes.
This passion thing, we need a whole show to break it down to pieces.
I agree.
Because people are totally derailed.
Yes.
Because they're looking for passion. Here and there, today it is singing, tomorrow it is baking, then it is hair, then it is makeup, different things, because you're looking for passion.
And they will not do the work.
And they'll not do the work. Let me take Uche. Uche, are you there? Hello, Uche, you're live. Go ahead, please. Don't listen to the TV. Listen to me, please. Uche, are you there?
Go on.
Okay, so we lost that call. So this just reminds me of young people and their passion. There are two syndromes I have an issue with. The one-liner syndrome and the passion syndrome. The one-liner syndrome, I just come up with these things. So one-liner syndrome is like where somebody takes one line from a whole speech, you take one line, now amplify it, put it on social media, criticize it, and other people start following it, and now it can set the whole nation ablaze because of one sentence. And the whole nation forgot to go look at the context in which that one line was said. So it's a new one-liner syndrome that people just pick up.
This is a whole
show. No, I'm just giving you ideas on shows now.
January 1, 2021.
They'll pick one liner.
One-liner.
Yes.
You remember we traced the article that came and said I had money. And we traced it. The original writer of that article wrote for, I think, Opera News. That person wrote a complete story based on the show. Quoted everybody. And left the headline of the topic from the show as his own headline. But if you read the article, you need to read the article. Now, somebody took the picture that TVC Connect used for that post, started a one-liner conversation. I was trending on WhatsApp.
Imagine that. So it's a new syndrome.
Easy.
Everybody takes the fact. It's a huge, huge new problem that Nigerian youth are having. Let's go on a break. When we come back, we continue with our show. Stay with us.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. So before the break, we're discussing Timi Dakolo's quote saying that it's not because you're famous doesn't make you rich. And then the conversation spurred onto other parts, one of which is this issue of passion. Now, the two things he said we're going to talk about in future. The other one, the one-liner syndrome, we'll pick another day where we'll take that show, a full-day show on that. But the issue of passion, and one of the reasons why it's important, because a lot of speakers, coaches, leaders will tell you to find your passion. They say it so passionately. You got to find your passion. Find that thing that makes you sting. And the young people are going out there looking for passion. They are constantly trading. And many of them are young. They have no clue what their passion is. So how do we begin to help a young teenager, 14, 15-year-old, or even an 18-year-old who's about to start his or her life, to find a passion? Because they make it look like you can only be successful if you do your passion.
Sis, that's my story. Growing up in small, just community, you know, quite a protected life, sheltered life. Thank you, Nima. A sheltered life, finished university, and all I kept hearing was, so what's your passion? I'm like, okay, I'm not sure yet. I love to read. I love to watch TV. Like, no, you need to have a passion. So I felt that, Miriam, your own is done. You have no passion. You are going to fail in this world. You are not going to make it. But now that I'm growing older, I'm realizing that this passion thing is something you build and acquire. It's, you get it step by step. So let me just use this Vultures to the Rescue, my book. When I wrote this book, one of my friends, Kasena, she just sent me, she says, Miriam, I remember when we were in secondary school, we used to do those paper magazines, M&K magazines. Do you remember? I was like, wow, that was my passion. But if I had said to the person I was doing paper, it did not make, it wouldn't have made sense. What I'm saying is, sometimes what you do today would lead you to the next thing, to the next thing, and to the next thing. When I got to the conversation with NCF, it was really because I'd always liked to talk about the environment and things like that. And for me, it was something I enjoyed doing. I always make sure that I buy those wooden cups and cutlery, just little things. And it now got me to NCF. NCF is such a huge platform when we are talking about ecosystem, the environment. And then the Vulture campaign. And sometimes we had to talk to children who come from different schools. And sometimes when you're making these speeches, you see the children just looking at you like this. And I thought, no, we have to have a better way to communicate with children concerning environment and things like that.
But they seem lost.
Yes. So for me, this passion that I have now, that people say, oh, Miriam is this thing, and it did not appear to me, it did not jump on my head. I got up every morning, I did something that led to something that led to something. It's not something that people have to have it figured out. And that's my fear. When you sit down with young people and say, so what's your passion? It's like, what is it that you have already figured out right now that you're about to start life? And the person is clueless.
Yeah. So it's okay to be clueless.
So the conversation is that you don't necessarily have to find or have a passion so early in life. And even if you're older and you're not really sure of what it is that you are passionate about, maybe you feel like I'm passionate about 10 things. I'm not sure, because there are people like that. They love makeup, they love hair, they love this, they love that, but they're not sure which one. They're multi-entrepreneur, or they have a word for call them right now. Multi-talented people. So those kind of people have a lot of issues because they're constantly trying to put their hands in everything. But when you now put pressure on someone that you must single out one passion, that's where I have a problem. That it must be one, that one must stick out. You know, this is your makeup, and there's got to be one that you're passionate about. But do you necessarily have to have that one that you're passionate about?
So let me make one of our makeup artists an example. So she does makeup, but she recently started learning tailoring, and she made this bespoke dress that, you know, she kept saying the work is more for one than the other. I said, but the fulfillment, how do you rate it? She said, anytime she's done making a dress and she's looking at it, she just feels good inside. It doesn't necessarily have to sell, you know, expensively, but, you know, she makes money to fund, makes money from off makeup to fund her tailoring talent. So you can have 1 million plus one. And that's one thing I like to do with I'm doing successfully with my daughter. I don't know about my son yet. My daughter has had dreams of, I cannot even find the passion
different
again.
passions, right?
Every day by time, she'll do passion. When it was hairdressing, and I thought, okay, this girl likes.
But I don't. I remember.
We had a mannequin. When she was 4, and, you know, she would make it. The first time she resumed for training, the first week she made shuku. I was like, this is her passion. Now it's tailoring.
So you bought her machine.
So whatever it is that she loves to do part-time, that I feel that is legit, I encourage, I just push. If she likes to say, now there was a time when she was asking, I just need a phone. I said, why? She said, because when I'm cooking, so she likes to do that also. She can put it on live. I said, it's not going to happen.
Can you imagine?
That passion, you know? So she has these channels where she watches, and young girls school, and they go on live, and their families join. I say, this family will not be joining you. You know, part-time, when people see things that fulfill them, they think that's the way. As a parent, when you're nurturing, you guide. It's not that you choose. You guide them part-time. Well, when we were growing up, I mistakenly chose law as my passion, they did not allow me to drop it. When I got to JAM, and JAM would jam me, they'll give you options. I kept saying, okay, let me just do journalism on this side. My father said, you must be lawyer. I want lawyer in my house. That's your passion. Because of your balanced way of thinking, no. Eventually, life brought us here, and I'm doing both. And I'm wondering, why did we have that long fight for a week that we didn't talk in the house? It was unnecessary. Life would sort of put it together. You just encourage part-time and allow people to have whatever it is that, you know, fulfills them, that is legitimate part-time. Let them do it. Don't choose and say, find one and stick to that one. Okay. You know, so one can fund one. I've seen artists I read about who had a regular job, and that helped them formed where they learned their talent, where they're acting, they had regular jobs. Some people worked in the banks, and they would still find time to make auditions. And when they blew,
there are people who have said that people have used that passion as an excuse not to do work.
Yeah.
And I've seen that recently. Someone that I called Chiniko, I follow her, and she just gives good advice to young professionals, you know, trying to make it. And she says that, yes, it's fine to have a passion, but do not refuse to do work. Do not refuse to show up to places because, well, it's not your passion, you don't feel it. You're not feeling it, it's not exciting. So, you know,
there's a word for that.
And she says how sometimes doing work somewhere would lead you to eventually get into your passion and fulfilling your passion.
So imagine.
We've had examples of people who've come here and they want to be interns. They're excited by the lights. And then once you realize, well, you have to be here early. You need to do this work. You need to there's some things, it's almost subservient work self. I'm like, no, this is not what I signed up for. I want to be right here, sitting down here and just talking and the lights all over me. You know, that is your passion, but there's a work that would lead to that. And you actually have to build it from ground up, because when you find yourself sitting down here without the work that you need to do, it would fizzle out in no time.
There's also this procrastination. That's the word Mura talks about it all the time. There was a whole week she would talk about it. And you want to be somewhere, but you have to show up. And you're saying, the work will come. You know, this is my passion. It will eventually pay. I'll just keep showing it the way I like. You know, practicing without showing up. So if you wanted to be an actress, they are calling for auditions and you're saying, what time is the audition? Auntie, you show up. Whatever the time. Yes. You wait until you're called. You wait. A friend of mine got a radio gig. She became a radio host. And the way she had called and said, I shortlisted, I applied for this. They are going to be auditioning. And I said, have you submitted? She said, no, I submitted. Only to find out that she didn't actually submit her CV on that application. So she printed it and held it in her hand and went for the auditions, even though the shortlisted people already front-loaded their documents. And so she was holding on to hers. So they didn't call her name, no day there. She waited. She was the last person at 10:01. When the judges wanted to get up and leave. So they said, is anyone left? Is anyone, any other person left there? And she was like, I'm here. Oh. But she had not front-loaded. And so they said, okay, you're here, come in. This is a person who had, all through our days when we're doing our diploma in law, she was volunteering at Radio Nigeria. She and her elder sister, they would go there, they're the ones that would do children, voice pop, do pick-ups after people and all of that. And so she got picked for that job, eventually. Her name was not there, but she was willing. She's used to the work, so she was willing to walk the walk. Right. But what we see now is young people say, but because I didn't come. One person, we did everything for the person to get a job, and the person just did not show up. He said, I changed my mind. The time was too early.
Let me go on a break, because I haven't issued our phone lines. I would have really loved to hear people's views on this, because this is a really important topic, especially for parents. You have teenagers, you have young people who are trying to find their feet in this world. They're trying to see, what can I do to be part of the system? And they're finding different options here and there. They're not sure. And you want to guide them. And they go for all these motivational conferences, all these seminars, and they keep telling them to find their passion. And the passion keeps changing. That's what this conversation is about, because how, therefore, do we find the passion that will lead you to your fulfillment? Let's go on a break. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Thanks for staying with us. All right, so we're done with the talk on the issue of passion, because we still need to bring in experts, especially coaches, who talk about these things, and hopefully we can get some clarity from them. So we're going to pause that conversation until we get in a guest who can shed more light on how young people can discover the right passion and ensure that they find fulfillment and success in it. So there was a topic we're holding for Nima, because she wasn't around last time when we talked about it. But this topic was so interesting that was about, I cannot mention the person's name. There was a cross-dresser, Bobrisky, that had said that he wanted to marry the Oba of Benin. And his hosts, when he went to Benin for the party, already came out, because I know he also posted that they apologized, because according to she was not aware that Bobrisky did the video. But some said it was disrespectful, obviously. Others said he was just joking. What's the big deal? He didn't mean it that way. He was just, puffing around. That the intention wasn't to be disrespectful. So can't the Benin people take a little joke? That's the conversation. Just a little joke, So, Nima, what were your thoughts on this one? Let me start with you.
So now we have become clowns that you joke with. Or the Benin kingdom is an empire on its own. And the only reason why it's remained so is because the people hold sacred certain cultures and the royal stool in Benin. They don't joke with certain things. Oba, they put leg for something, make people, you don't water down such cultures. And I think that in the name of this influencer, because all these people get their popularity and call themselves influencers, small book is important to be read. Read small book. Be aware of small things that you know certain lines you don't cross. Not be everything be play. It's not everything that is a joke. The host and the visitor, they were both lucky that the Benin people did not show them another side of the Benin people because we were not to be very accommodating. But then, when you cross line...
He didn't go to the Oba's face and say, marry me. No. He was just laughing around with his friends. Why is that a big deal?
This is what you don't know. If somebody were to say to the Oba, this Oba's cup is silver, why is he not drinking with gold cup? A Benin son of the soil will present a gold cup rather than allow the Oba be insulted. So that's how doing a video far from the Oba still means insult to the Oba. You don't just come and to think that you're a controversial figure.
Oh, so the issue is who said this. So the issue is not what he said. The issue is who said it. Because let us be frank. That's your problem. So if
the current Miss Nigeria or Miss World were to say it,
would it be a problem?
Would
the Benin people?
There's a respectful way to say it.
Okay, how would that be?
So the current Miss Nigeria who wants to become Olori in the Oba's palace would write discreetly to the Oba, and that I volunteer to be.
No. You're making it too serious. Yeah. I'm saying wait, can I do it now?
Publicize it in the paper. No. You make joke of it, and the Oba would not in his.
No, that's not what this guy did. He was talking with his friends and he was making joking. So if I am the most beautiful girl in Nigeria, and I'm like, I'm so beautiful, I could even marry the Oba of Benin. Yeah. Would you be able?
You would not say, Oba, come and marry me. You would say, I'm made for royalty. I think I qualify as a queen.
Yeah, your Oba, come and marry me.
There must be tone of language.
Okay. So your issue is
why you have fixed lashes, fixed everything.
Oh, so that's a problem for you.
Oba
doesn't like lashes.
Everything, bleach from head to toe. You are not even Did you
Wait,
see the quality?
You that you are speaking, do you know your wife, the Oloris? Have you seen your Oloris before? Do you know how white they are?
Auntie, you know that I don't miss the coronation. There's a reason. Look at the quality of women. Look at the
your Oba spec. Do you know your Oba spec?
Is this like me?
Yeah, sorry, Jerry Mariam. I forgot that you're there.
For me, I just feel that there's some things we should not give energy to. So the office, the stool, the house, royalty should not give energy to influencers, random influencers talking random things to their random fans. So he should have his conversation wherever he has his conversation. Now, the response that he got from the people, that is fine because because that one is a random response to that person. But I agree with you where I think all of us, me included, we need to study and read about our culture better. I want us to be able to represent and present our royalty, our culture on international stage, because most of these influencers have a huge following. I just wonder the beauty of that conversation if she was talking about the history and the impact of the Benin Kingdom.
That would as nice as that sounds, the fact that he spoke about it has already given international appeal. The fact that Bobrisky who said it, those his millions followers heard about it. Those of you that never even knew there was an Oba in Benin first, you know about Oba of Benin just by Bobrisky saying that.
Mo is trying to balance this thing.
Why are
you trying to say? Also,
that's my job. My job is to balance the conversation.
The Bobrisky followers cannot be like him and not know about the traditional
but some didn't know about it.
People. So, some didn't know.
Some probably didn't know.
Funny. See, let me quickly say that the royal family will not respond to him. They don't join issues with trivialities. But the people whose business is it to respect and maintain their traditions will deal with him. He's lucky that, he did it and then came out. And even the apology, he did not even roll for ground.
Yeah?
And
he apologized.
What is this?
We want to start kneeling down.
Let me remind you quickly, there was one important person, very important, who was mistakenly addressed as Oba of Benin before the late Oba in England, and he did not correct it. He did not enter Benin Kingdom freely. Somebody responded. Not to the Oba responding to him. Somebody responded that you've impersonated the Oba. This is not, you allowed it to just pass, not to talk of this kind. No, certain things Know the history of your people. Know a bit of your tradition. Just know.
That's where I was going.
Because
of who this person is, they are influencers. Influencers are not meant to be people who, some of them are not well read. Their fame is based on maybe their looks, how much money they spend, what they do on social media. Yeah. So sometimes we should not give that. If you're such an important body, such a sacred tool, do not give that information, that person or that platform any attention. Yes. But then I would like also where a person doesn't know a lot more, about what they are speaking of and making jest of it, I would have loved also a response that would educate us all and say this is how to do it without all the constant insult, catfights constantly. That is how we address issues in this country. Yeah. Every time someone says something and does something wrong. And then secondly, what is wrong with forgiving somebody?
Simple.
Why do we have to roll on the floor, though?
Exactly.
Is it like a Benin culture that whenever you do something...
Once you genuinely report...
Let me inform that.
Because my husband always says if I upset him because he's from Edo State, I need to get a white goat, a white lizard, and white whatever. So I'm wondering if...
Story.
It's white. But it's also traditional when women beg their husbands.
But Nima, wait, before you answer, but how many cultures can we know? How do I know your own culture?
Why do you know the English culture?
No. How many do we have in Nigeria? Do you know even 5?
Me?
All the cultures we have in Nigeria. No, I'm saying we have over 300 and so different people in this country. In this country, how many of them do you know about the 350?
If you don't know, you'd act more discreetly. In certain places where I go, and I think that there's a culture that I must promote, and I don't know so much, I just hide. I keep quiet.
So all the cultures, they don't joke in their cultures. All the cultures don't joke. You don't joke for your side.
You know some people...
Oh, I be worry, everything worry, they carry last. Don't be you with a joke. You know guys, they do the jokes.
Travel. But our own Oba no they go transfer. We treat him, you accord him the same respect.
Absolutely.
If Bobrisky mistakenly go to England, can he say the same of the Queen?
Yes. Easily.
Yes. No, now.
Easily.
No, he knows better.
Easily.
We know somebody that was a senator in America when the Queen was giving them honors about one thing. The person dressed according. He will know better.
Bobrisky can say, Queen, come and marry me, and they will not arrest him.
Maybe we're having this conversation because the Benin people did not carry out the threats.
What threat can they carry out?
Even the event was gone for long.
No, the host was very...
He would have done the party.
The host was very... Yeah, she was very courteous. She was like,
she knows. She's the daughter of the soil.
Of course.
You're visiting. The little you can do is maintain and observe and learn. Because you're an influencer, does it mean you're dumb?
With all the one line, I'll catch you now. All those one line, I'll catch you. No, we have to wrap up.
Because I know a lot of influencers who are well read, who would know better. When they go for ordinary dinners, they know how to comport themselves. You're entering Benin.
But the prerequisite for influencing is not being well read. So we need to give them, it's not being well read. It's about your makeup and whatever.
After you got popular.
It's just working on yourself. Then you can now transfer yourself from one level to the next level.
Our Obas in the Southwest are not that rigid. We are a bit more liberal because we are in 2022. 2022. You know, I doubt if Bobrisky said that about any of our Obas, it's going to be a big deal. I mean, it doesn't mean that, you see, the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't water down the essence of the stew on either side, either on the southwest, south, anywhere. He said it jokingly. So for me, it wasn't a big deal. He said it was a joke. No, but why now people not carry it on their head as if, they committed the crime of dissension? What did he...
There's a difference. So
which difference?
There's a difference. And at the risk of watering it down, we don't take such actions that that risk exists. You can
so the response is even if it was going to water it down, there would have been no room to allow that because we have now seen how they will come out viciously.
So nobody will do it again.
Nobody will try it.
You guard jealously what you revere. You guard it the way they guard.
For those, some of them are hypocrites. All of them.
No, but you know that there's some countries.
Some of them.
No, but
some of you are genuine like you. Some are genuine, but others are lots of hypocrites.
People who guard, whatever cultures believe they do, for those who guard them jealously, I find that people are more respectful of them. There are some countries that you go to today, you will get a scarf.
Japan, yeah.
You just are afraid. You don't know if they would, you err on the side of caution. You put your scarf, and then when you get there, and they say, no, it's fine for you before you take it off. But then for those cultures or beliefs or people who everything goes, well, she did not mean it, he didn't get it.
No,
and even for people, before you know it, everybody will insult you.
Well, he was just joking.
Well, the Benin people have answered.
You start from your house.
Anyway, before the Benin people come and look for me, please, my job is to balance the conversation. I am not you got a couple of social media now. Morel said, please, all you one-liner syndrome people, please, face your front. Have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Bye for now.